Hi, it's Sue and Sammy from Aging Joyfully. Steve is getting ready to go to work, but I felt like this video was very important to make because I fell a couple days ago. It was such a shock falling that I thought that I should tell my viewers some things that you might want to do to prevent falling yourself. Now, this is geared towards older people, but anybody can fall. I first fell when I was 18 months old. I fell down the steps way back then, and they didn't have safety gates or anything. So I found out that as of today, half of all falls are attributed to steps. And President Trump's first wife, Ivanka, did pass away from falling down the steps. So that is a very dangerous thing. But back to my fall. I was walking Sammy. Steve and I were walking both dogs. I was walking Sammy, and we were in the neighborhood, and there's a little section where they just put a little bit of cement at the beginning and the end of a trail, and in the middle it is mulch, and it is behind the homes, and there's a ton of trees. So it had been raining, it had been muddy, and it was so unusually cold the day we were walking. So we were walking quickly. We were about to not walk that far. We were about to turn around and go home when I said, "Hey, you want to walk the new trail?" Which was a mistake because I knew the beginning and the end had very steep incline or declines. I knew that the cement part would be muddy, as well as have pine cones and pine straw from all the pine trees in Georgia. And I knew it was probably a bad idea, but it was there, and we thought we would take a quick walk and then go home because we were walking very quickly, quicker than we normally walk. And the first part was treacherous with the pine cones and pine needles. Pine straw is very slick. So I was very careful on that part. Then when we got to the mulch, I relaxed, and I thought, okay, smooth sailing. There's no more dangers in this mulch area. I had sunglasses on. Even though it was cloudy, very, very cloudy, and visibility was reduced, but there was a glare, and that glare was bothering my eyes. So I had my sunglasses on for the glare, but it made it darker, along with the trees overhead, made it darker. And again, we were walking quickly to rush through to get home, and I guess I probably wasn't paying as close attention. I don't know. Steve was in front of me with Sierra, and then Sammy, I had relaxed her grip. I'm training her to walk by my side, but I had relaxed it. And I think she was probably in front of me. So I never saw a root about 3 to 4 inches high in the path. We had walked that path many times. We've never seen tree roots. But there was a root. And as soon as I hit it, I had a flashback to when we had hiked and I tripped on a root, but I was able to do a little dance and get my balance back. This time I tried to do the little dance and I couldn't. As soon as I realized I was going to fall, I kind of went with the fall. And at that moment, everything got very dizzy. It was spinning around my head. Like when I was pregnant, I fainted the first trimester of both pregnancies. And when I came to from fainting, everything was spinning. And it was spinning like that. And that scared me. I know the dizziness was attributed to because I was panicked. I was anxious because I knew I was falling. But I kind of went into the fall, and I don't know exactly what I did. It happened very quickly but slow at the same time because it felt like it was slow motion and falling. But what I think I did was I naturally kind of bent down. I think I kind of bent into the fall, bent my knee, and then turned into it. I fell on my left arm, leg, and knee. And then I didn't make any noise except for as I hit the ground, I went, some short, little, quiet noise like, And Steve heard that and turned around, and he said, "What are you doing? Get up, get up." Well, my instinct told me to stay on the ground. I said, "No, I need to sit here for a minute. I need to sit here." And he said, "No, you need to get up." He wanted to make sure I could get up and that I wasn't hurt. But I said, "No, I need to sit here for a minute." My blood pressure, I think, had plummeted. I'm just guessing from the dizziness plus the shock. I think it plummets. And when I did search it later, when I got home, it did say you should sit there for 1 minute to get your blood pressure back to normal before getting up. So that was instinctive that I knew I shouldn't get up right away. Then he tried to pull me up, and I was not in a good position to be pulled up. So, and the funny thing is, I never let go of Sammy's leash the whole time. I never let go. And she didn't bark. She didn't look at me. She didn't come over and lick my face. I was like, she didn't do anything. She just kind of stood there. I thought that was odd too, that she didn't come over, check that I was okay, or bark or alert Steve that something was wrong. I thought that was kind of weird that she was just quiet and just stood to the side. She's probably quieter than she's ever been. So anyway, I had to press into my knee to get up off the ground, and I felt like I had no pain anywhere. I had no pain, and I thought, how did I just fall and have no pain? So then I saw the root, and we tried to push it down, but it was a root, and there's nothing you could do. And I thought, that's extremely dangerous. Anybody walking here, especially if you're like pushing a stroller and don't see it, they're not going to see the root. So I thought maybe I should contact the HOA to tell them about this route, but this path is not very well traveled because it is a sidewalk, and then the mulch, and then the sidewalk. And I believe that mulch really cushioned my fall, and that's probably one reason I didn't get hurt, along with I have been jumping quite a bit on my trampoline lately, as well as doing just a little bit of yoga, not a whole lot, but I think that the jumping on the trampoline helps your balance. And my favorite video to exercise to is Improved Health out of Canada. You use all of your muscles, and you get more flexible. So I think because I had become more flexible, if I tensed up, I would have definitely gotten hurt. When you're in a car accident, you tend to tense up and you get extremely hurt. I did not tense up. I don't know why. I don't know if it's from my jumping on the trampoline. I'm used to kind of bending, and I'm very low to the ground. I'm very short, so that probably helped as well. But it really has scared me. It has really scared me because this has been one of my fears my entire life, of falling, because of my fall as a toddler at 18 months. Now, my mother started falling when she was about 59, 58. And the first time she fell, she was visiting Chicago, and they're walking, and I wasn't there, but I heard I don't know what happened, but her glasses went flying. They got scratched up. She got scratched up all over. And then she fell at home on a little mat that the mat just slid out from under her, and she fell. And then I heard she fell getting the mail, and her mailbox was across the street from the house, so she fell and had to crawl back to the house. After that, I think she had a great fear of falling, and she took to her bed and didn't want to get up. In addition to that, she was in a lot of pain. We don't know if she had tiny fractures in her back or pulled muscles. Back then, well, our parents never talked about anything. They never talked about anything, but especially health. Health was all hush-hush. We didn't even know when she was dying. Everything was hush-hush. She had autoimmune disease for 6 or 7 years. And so anyway, after she fell, that put in my head how dangerous falls are. I mean, I already knew from my fall as an infant, but I've always been hyper vigilant about trying not to fall, taking precautions in our house. But I honestly never thought about falling on a trail that I thought was totally flat, nothing in it. I just did not imagine roots in that trail because they made this trail. They made it. So if they removed trees, you would think they would have taken the tree root down with the tree when they made this trail for people to walk on. That is quite a hazard. So I Googled the CDC and to see what the stats are on falls, and they're quite alarming. In the age group 65 and up, it is the second leading cause of death to have a fall. I'm not going to read them all. You could go to the cdc.org. Of course, I don't know how much longer it's going to be up, as the CDC is being taken apart right now. 1 in 10 are being laid off as of this week. But here it talks about stairs and steps. As I said, that stairs are the second biggest cause of falls. On stairs, always keep objects off stairs, fix loose or uneven steps, have a light switch at the bottom and top. Now, that was another thing. Our lights went out at the top of our stairs, and we were unable to replace the bulb. Steve was not tall enough. We could not do it. So for months, it was dark. I have these puck lights. I'm going to show you our stairs. I put these puck lights in here that do light them up. They're rechargeable, and they take a long, long time to charge. So if I saw one burn out, I tried to charge just that one. But we just couldn't change it. We didn't want to call somebody in just to change these bulbs. We didn't know what somebody would charge. Back to steps. I have the notes from the CDC on my iPad. We talked about keeping nothing on the steps, having good lighting, fix loose or uneven steps, make sure the carpet is firmly attached. I put little mats on it because our steps were slick. It's hardwood on the steps. So I'll show you the mats as well as the puck lights that I purchased. Now the mats are curling up on the edges, so that makes it even more dangerous having mats. So you have to watch those mats. I have a few replacements that I'm thinking about putting out. Fix handrails. You should always hold the handrails when you go up and down the steps. Okay, floors. Do you have to walk, when you walk through a room, do you have to walk around furniture? You should have a clear path. Remove rugs or use double-sided tape. That's what my mother fell on, was a rug that slipped off from under her. That's when I realized how dangerous rugs are. Papers, shoes, books, or other objects on the floor. I'm always after Steve to pick up his shoes because you just don't see them. I always ask him to move things to one side throughout the house. That's one of our issues. We have a lot of clutter. We have a lot of clutter, and people our age don't think that we're getting old. They still call themselves middle-aged. What are we really? We're not elderly, but we're not middle-aged. So I like to say we're seniors. Because middle age is really, the life expectancy is 78. Middle age would be, what, 39? So at our age, we're not really middle aged anymore, but we're not elderly. So I would just say we're seniors. We're at a vulnerable age, as is anyone. Anyone can trip over shoes. I had a friend, or the steps. I had a friend who was in her 30s who had the hardwood steps that matched the floor at the bottom, and she thought she was at the bottom and wasn't, and she ended up on crutches for quite a while. So any one of us can do this. It's not just elderly, older, or senior people who do this, or young children. Oil or tape cords or wires next to the wall so you can't trip over them. We have our cord to the couch that we were afraid Sammy was going to chew, and we have to plug it into the side. There's no outlets in our floor, so we put a brown cover on that. I'll show that as well. I guess that's slightly dangerous. What the cover does, it's rubber, so it does adhere to the floor, so it makes it safer. And we don't typically walk to the couch on that side. We walk on the other side of the couch. Kitchen. Keep things you use often on lower shelves. Overreaching is a reason people lose their balance and fall. Don't put things up high unless you rarely get them. And then I don't like ladders at all. I'm not good on ladders. I don't like being on ladders, and many people do fall off ladders. When we lived in Alabama, we lived in a place that was extremely safe, and one person was a police officer there who was bored to death, and he was like, there's no crime. And then he went to paint his house, got on a ladder, and died when he fell off of that ladder. So ladders are very, very dangerous. Is your step stool sturdy? Don't get a wobbly one. Get one that has the bar to hold on to, not just, we have an old wooden one that doesn't have anything but 3 steps, and that's so dangerous, and I don't like to use that one at all. Bedrooms. Is the light near the bed hard to reach? When my dad was older, his light was so far, I always thought he was going to fall out of bed, reaching way over to turn on and off that light. Because of that, I put a clapper on my light, the old-fashioned clapper where you clap on, clap off. I should have just added to Alexa or something. Get the bulb that you say, hey, Alexa, turn on the light, turn off the light. But we didn't do that. I have a clapper so I don't have to reach for my light because of my memories of my dad. Is your path from your bed to the bathroom dark? Put in a night light. If you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I have those puck lights in the hallway as well. I never get up to go to the bathroom since I've got my CPAP. I have sleep apnea. I never get up anymore. So if you're getting up to go to the bathroom, you might have sleep apnea because that's not normal to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Steve never gets up either. We both have CPAPs and we no longer get up to go. If you get up to go to the bathroom more than once, if you do it 3, 4, 5 times a night, I would definitely get checked for sleep apnea if you are over 40 or using that restroom unless you have some health condition that would require that, which is not a part of aging. People think it's a natural part of aging, and it's not. We never get up to use the restroom anymore in the middle of the night. So you might want to think about that. Is your tub or shower floor slippery? When Steve's mother came to visit when we first got married, she insisted we buy a mat for our bathtub. And now she was older. She was in her 70s. She had Steve at 39. So I almost thought it was silly, but when I went to my sister has a very old, very nice tub, which the old tubs are different. They're very, very slick, and I made her buy a mat, and she never uses it. She never uses that mat. When I come to visit, she pulls it out, makes a big ordeal, and says, here's your mat. Now, I think that's odd, because she is older now, and she could very easily slip, especially when you soap up your feet with that slick Our son actually fell in the shower and got stitches. He slipped when he was about 3. He was taking a shower with me because I was pregnant, and he slipped and ended up getting stitches. So showers are extremely dangerous. Don't ever think you're too young to not need a mat. My sister also got a grab bar in her shower, but she didn't have it installed correctly. She put it in as a towel bar. She thought it didn't look cool to have a grab bar, so she put it in as a more decorative towel bar. I know we don't want to admit we're aging. We don't want to admit that we have to take precautions. But you do. Like I said, these things can happen at any age. And it's what did Ben Franklin say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's a headache to recover from a fall or injury. Do you need support when you get in and out of the tub or up from the toilet? Have grab bars. Here's some more stats from the CDC. Millions of older people, age 65 and older, fall. More than 1 in 4 older adults fall each year, but less than half tell their doctors. Falling once doubles your chances of falling again. Falls are serious and costly. 1 in 10 falls result in an injury that causes the older adult to restrict activities for a day or more. Each year there are 3 million emergency department visits due to older people falls. Every year there are 1 million fall-related hospitalizations for older adults. In 2019, 83% of hip fracture deaths and 88 emergency department visits were the result of falls. Falls are the most common cause of traumatic brain injuries. Okay, the reason that you may be falling, and I do want to say women fall more often than men. I don't know why. Most medical studies were done on men. It could be a hormonal thing, but women fall much more often than men do. Okay, these are reasons you might fall. Lower body weakness, vitamin D deficiency. This is all listed on the cdc.gov website. You could look it up yourself. Difficulties with walking and balance. That's why I jump on the trampoline as well as do a little bit of yoga. And I have other balancing things that I haven't done, but I may be going back to those now. Although I don't know. I think my balancing helped me not get hurt. But the fall itself, since, like I said, I had my sunglasses on, the trees were causing darkness, the dogs were blocking it. I don't know if I could have prevented it. I came pretty close, but just couldn't do it. Okay, use of medications, tranquilizers, antidepressants, sedatives can make you dizzy, tired, and can make you fall. Vision problems, foot pain or poor footwear, hazards, broken or uneven steps, throw rugs. Most falls are a combination of risks. Again, it was the tree stub, along with the dogs, along with me wearing sunglasses when it was already dark out. The more risk factors you have, the greater the chances of falling. So that's why I try to take precautions in the home. I just didn't think that there was any risk on that path. After a fall, falls can cause broken bones, they can cause head injuries, and they fall, even if they're not injured, they become afraid of falling. I know that for sure. This fear may cause a person to cut down on everyday activities. When they're less active, they're more likely to fall. So I shouldn't give up walking. I need to keep walking. I shouldn't be afraid of it because I just don't think I'll walk on that trail again. We have a walking stick that I could have been using and maybe will use, but we also had the walking poles, and I found when I first started using the walking poles, that's actually when I tripped on the tree roots, was when I used the walking poles. I think I was looking at the poles more than the ground or something, so I actually was tripping more with those poles than less. So I've never really fallen other than when I was 18 months, and I did fall one time as an adult at a pool when it started raining. I ran and I did fall. That was just not too bright. I was a young adult. It was raining. Why would I run in the rain when you're getting wet at the pool anyway? But as a grown adult, I have never fallen, and I do know Steve's mother did fall when she came to visit us in Florida when we were on vacation. She tripped on the stroller and she fell and she got stitches on her face. My mother's fallen. My sister has fallen. My sister fell in a store parking lot that was poorly lit. She saw later there was a bump in the pavement, and she tripped on that. I always like to use a shopping cart to take things to the car to prevent any fall, and try to park next to the cart return so I could just put it there. That's one of my preventions with shopping. is using a shopping cart, especially in stores where there's a lot of glare. The glare causes you to be more likely to fall. A lot of the stores have the fluorescent light that glares on the floor. It reflects back up. So I always like to use a shopping cart, even if I'm not buying very much. And then my sister fell on ice, and I've known ice is extremely dangerous. My teacher fell on ice when I was growing up, and she was out of work the rest of the year from February to June. She didn't work because she so severely broke her leg. And that doctor, I forget what his name is. I'll put it in the screen. He was the one who did the diet. He fell on ice. People try to say it was his diet, but no, he actually fell on ice. It wasn't that the diet was dangerous, but he fell on ice and died. So falls are very, very serious. I think now when I walk on trails, I'm going to be looking more for tree roots. I've been a hiker most of my adult life, and I've never fallen on a trail. So that was just really shocking. Most trails that are worn, that are well-traveled, don't have the roots because so many people walk on them. That's another thing. I think as you get older, you think we probably shouldn't be walking on a trail that's very hardly ever traveled because there's going to be more dangers on that trail. And I knew that from the sidewalk. So it was a bad choice to make that because we were in a hurry because of the cold weather. So I'm going to think twice, try to take prevention. And of course, you can't always prevent everything in life, right? So it's how you react. Sammy's another one. She's, like I said, she's been biting me, and she gets real hyper sometimes and almost trips me. When we first got Sierra, our last house had steep steps that we just did not like at all. But Sierra would sleep in our bedroom, and in the morning, she would push me down the steps every morning. I had to train Sierra that she had to go first because I was not going to fall down those steps. Again, after falling down the steps as a child, I take precautions around steps. I don't like steps. So with Sammy now, she gets a little hyper, but I've been watching the dog whisperer to try to train her. Whisperer said to pick up dogs here. That has helped if I can get her. When she's biting me, it's hard to grab her here. We also had purchased this collar before. This collar, it's a chargeable collar that has a noise. It has a noise, a vibration, and a shock. We haven't shocked her. We've been using the noise and vibration, but the collar's always dead. It doesn't hold the charge very long, and they're not synced together that often. It doesn't work. Most times it doesn't work more than it does, so I get frustrated with this collar. But she has gotten a little more aggressive with some things, and we're working on it. We're working on giving her more freedom. She hasn't had a lot of freedom in the house because of Sierra, because Sierra is grouchy as she's almost 14 now. So we are working on Sammy biting less and training her more, because she could be a reason that we might fall if she trips you under your feet, or as she aggressively starts biting. Ironically, that dog whisperer, the shows I watched, the first 5 shows I watched were all tiny aggressive dogs and looked like her. They all showed their teeth and were really aggressive. Of course, on camera, she usually just kisses me and says, she just loves these videos. But if you do something she doesn't want to do, she gets aggressive, shows those teeth, starts biting. She wants to be in charge. And I think that's what they said, that they're dominant, they're in charge. You've got to show them that you're in charge and you're in control. So she is a fall risk in herself. Little dogs can trip older people going under their feet, and they're not expecting it. So comment below if you've ever fallen, what you've done to prevent falls. There are some videos that tell you how to safely fall, and I think I did a safe fall because I didn't get hurt. When I got home, I thought I needed to ice something, but I didn't know what to ice. I thought I fell on my knee. I thought I should ice my knee, but my knee didn't hurt. Well, then my left lower back started to hurt a little bit. So I iced my lower back, and then my arm up here started hurting. I iced that, and then I put a heat pad. I alternated. I put the heat on my lower back and the heat on my arm. Today, a couple days later, my arm up here hurts. I didn't ice that as long as my back because I thought my back would hurt. So I fell on my left side. I fell on my left arm, my left leg, and I probably kind of curled up. And so I didn't tense up. I think I probably was like I'm jumping on the trampoline or something. Plus that cushion, that mulch cushion helped tremendously. I'm so grateful. It was the mulch that I fell on, but there wouldn't be a root in the cement. So I wouldn't have tripped on a root in the cement anyway, but I could have slipped. There's a difference between a slip and fall and a trip and fall. Trip and fall and slip and fall. Slip and fall sound like they're more dangerous because you fall backwards when you slip. When you trip, you usually fall forward. So if you're concerned about falls, Google some of those things. And the CDC statistics don't help much, right? You really want to know how to prevent it and how to fall safely. There's a man who shows you how to do fall safely exercises, which I've never been athletic. And he said they're a little dangerous to try. You could actually get hurt doing the exercises, so don't want to do that. Next time, our next video will be on taxes. Steve's in that one. Georgia changed your tax code, so we're excited about that. So look for that video as well as all of our other ones. I'll put some of my favorites in the description. And as always, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends if you think any of our videos will help. They make your day. We talk about so many different issues. We share Sammy, trying to teach Sammy some new tricks. Until we see you again, take it easy.